A few Scarlet Report viewers have asked me to make a video on Enzo Fernandez, basically what kind of player he is and how he would fit in the Manchester United setup. Now, before I start talking about Enzo Fernandez, let me show you what this guy, who you probably know, said about Enzo Fernandez. So yeah, I'm really excited about this player, especially considering the fact that he's not going to be expensive, about 20 to 25 million pounds. Yes, Enzo Fernandez and I go way back. I've talked about him back in April 2022 as a viable option for Manchester United's midfield. But of course, Manchester United are a sleeping giant without a scouting department. Now that ship has sailed for us. So let's stop ranting and let's talk about the kind of player he is. All the nations that performed well during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar had one thing in common. And it is that all of them had a mezzala, or what is commonly known as a box-to-box midfielder in their team. Croatia had Mateo Kovacic, England, Jude Bellingham, France, Adrien Rabiot, Morocco, Azdin Ounahi, and of course, Argentina had Enzo Fernandez. And this is a trend that is growing in world football currently. Big teams like Bayern Munich, for example, with Goretzka, or Inter Milan with Nicolo Barella, all rely on a mezzala or a box-to-box midfielder because they are the glue between your more defensive-minded midfielders. In the case of Manchester United, that would be someone like Casemiro or even Christian Eriksen, and your more creative, advanced playmakers like Bruno Fernandes. So you need a player in between. Now, if you look at Enzo Fernandez heat map, this guy is literally everywhere on the pitch. Everywhere. He's like a Tasmanian devil, just like spiraling all around the pitch. And he touches the ball everywhere. He is an all-action midfielder. And these kind of players are now becoming more and more key, more and more important and valuable in world football. Now, every central midfielder's main role is, of course, to win the ball back. Now, Enzo Fernandez is extremely energetic, so he's stellar in that department, but also he is actually has very good balance and very good strong legs. So even though he's relatively small, he's actually extremely powerful and can actually outmuscle a lot of his opponents, similar to Lisandro Martinez, for example. When he gets the ball back, he is extremely press resistant. And that's because he's got 360 degrees vision. He's extremely aware of what's around him, but also he's technical and he's pretty agile and nimble. So he can literally just glide through the opposition's tackles and keep the ball. Next, he is an amazing ball progressor. His long balls are extremely accurate and he makes great decisions on who his target is going to be. And that's extremely valuable in international football or top class football because it can be a huge difference maker in tight games, especially knockout games in the World Cup or in the Champions League, for example, or games against big rivals in the league. Now, one thing that goal he scored during the World Cup against Mexico shows is that this guy is a threat if you allow him time and space in and around the box. That goal against Mexico right there, that should have been scored by a winger or a center forward or maybe a technical number 10 like Maradona, but not by a defensive midfielder. And so what Enzo Fernandez has shown throughout this World Cup is that he's an all-action midfielder. He can do absolutely everything and he can do it well. Now, whether Enzo Fernandez is a top talent or not, whether he would fit in the Manchester United setup or not, that's a moot point at this point. The ship has sailed. This guy is world class. He's a world champion. He's playing for a big club in Benfica, and in the summer he'll definitely is gonna move to a giant club and be competing in the Champions League and in the local league. So I'm not surprised that he's had an amazing World Cup, and I'm not surprised that he's been quoted as being worth 90 to 100 million pounds. But I am frustrated as a Manchester United fan because this is a player who we should have signed last season. And remember, last season we did not have Casemiro, we did not have Eriksen, so we did not have a bloated midfield. That means we had space for someone like Enzo Fernandez. And it just baffles me how that amazing River Plate team under Marcelo Gallardo, who had so many brilliant players, and of course the two shining stars, Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez, none of them ended up at Manchester United. But Julian ended up in Manchester City and Enzo in Benfica. Both of them ended up being world champions. Of course, Manchester City and Benfica, unlike Manchester United, do have a scouting department. So I am extremely frustrated. Right now, if you want to get Enzo Fernandez into Manchester United, it's going to take a fee that is somewhere between what Liverpool paid for Darwin Núñez and what Atletico Madrid paid for Joao Felix. So it's going to be a record-breaking deal for Manchester United. And at this point, I'm not sure that Manchester United are willing to pay that kind of money for a player in midfield. I think if they paid that kind of money for a midfielder, probably they're going to try for Jude Bellingham rather than Enzo Fernandez. So to summarize, what I'm trying to say in this video is that Enzo Fernandez is a phenomenal talent. He's the kind of midfielders that we definitely need, that glue between someone like Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, someone who can help win the ball back and help make us more solid defensively, but at the same time help us create and score goals in the final third. But I just don't see it as a realistic financial possibility. I don't think Manchester United are gonna go for Enzo Fernandez right now. All we can do as Manchester United fans is to hope that when the Glazers sell the club, we're gonna have ambitious and rich owners who are gonna be bold enough to spend 200 or 300 million pounds every year in the transfer market, like Chelsea are doing right now. But other than that, I just don't think that it's realistic. So anyway, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure to tell me in the comment section below, who is your alternative to the likes of Bellingham and Enzo Fernandez? Since both of them are going to cost a lot of money, who do you think Manchester United should go for? I.e., who do you think is the next up-and-coming complete number 8? Cheers.